Yep, I walked all the way up the hill to the back road. This is the first time walking up here. And I've discovered lots and lots of things. We have fencing, most of which isn't right or down. We've got a lot of thicket, a whole lot of thicket. Much of it can be cleared out. Most of the fencing up here is either rotted out or fallen down. Some of it's decent. It's got a hog panel with a barbed wire or 2 barb on it. But, most of it is falling down like this. Means all the posts need to be replaced. Salvage the fence if possible. I've also found a lot more buildings. They all appear to be hog shacks of some kind. Which really isn't surprising since I've been finding them everywhere. And there's one right here. There's 2 more back over on this side in the thicket. I haven't even pushed back in there to look yet. Not sure where the fence is at, so I don't want to get hung up in barbed wire. But got hog houses over here. Some fairly decent fence stretch. But all of that thicket back there and all those little shrubs, those are the things that the hogs wouldn't eat. So that's what's growing in. There's another one over here. I don't know how well you can see it. But yeah, another hog house. Got a lovely assortment of trees. Got some big ones, most of them are little ones. But we got some nice forest out here. And some resources. Tin that we can use for the raised beds. Some wood that's salvageable. Some wood that's not salvageable, as you can see that. There's armadillo sign all over up here, scratching and digging in the dirt, which isn't good. Hate them little critters. They don't do anybody much good here. And they're pretty much mostly an invasive species. We got a nice rose thicket right here that will be full of rose hips in the spring, or next summer rather. That building up on top of the hill that I thought it might have been a machine shed or a tractor shed or something, it isn't big enough. It is a hog barn of some kind. But that's it there. It's only about 6 foot in the front, about 5 foot in the back, but it would appear that a lot of the timber and the roofing on it is pretty good. So that is salvageable, very salvageable. Yeah, these are actually about 2.5 inches wide. That's pretty good. The tin on it's still fairly good. So it looks like this one's fairly new compared to some of the other ones. Got fence posts and stuff in here. More thicket. Got cedar trees, oak, hickory. So far I haven't seen any creepy crawlies in the grass. Grass. In the leaves rather. And nice little cedars everywhere. In about 10 years they'll make good posts. But I'm walking downhill from the back gate. This is looking south. This is the big hill on the top here. We're 100 foot over the top of the house right now. And got a hog panel, some more makeshift fence. And down here a little bit to the left is where the upper pond used to be. And I say used to be because it's filled in. But it also is a good example of the armadillo scratches and digging. There's all kinds of little places in here where they've been rooting up stuff. And you can see here the little dig holes everywhere and all how this turf is torn up. This is all from armadillos. They've been digging around and rooting around in here for grubs and bugs and stuff. But I'm going to have to do something about that, because armadillos are not very conducive to having game, or not game, but stock. Horses, cattle, things like that. Horse or cow can easily break a leg in an armadillo den. But, yeah, I just wanted to show everybody, specifically Petra, what it looks like up here. And we have no shortage of cedar trees. In fact, we probably have too many. I'm going to have to thin them down. Take out the bigger ones, use them for fence posts. Leave the little ones so they can be used for fence posts later. Most of this stuff could be cut down. It's all small thicket and brush. I saw a couple of rock shelves on the way up here that run kind of east and west through the hill, which makes sense because of the rock shelf that's behind the house and the one that's under the house. And, yeah, it gets pretty dense back in here. But I'm just going to let this run. I'm not going to make a cut in this one. That way everybody can see it. It'll be kind of long and boring, but you'll live with it. Got some nice white oaks starting up. And if we got little white oaks, that means there's big ones. And we got some nice cedar back in here that are good sized. We got some pine, some fir. There's a big white oak right there. I've seen half a dozen of those. Got blackberry right here and a spider attached to my head. Spider. That's orb weavers there. Got spiders or webs everywhere out here. But that right there, if I can get it into focus, that's blackberry. We got tons of that out here. Got lots of... Well, up here I'm going to end up cutting this short anyway. My battery just shut the camera off, so it's about dead. I don't know how much farther I'm going to get on this. I'm about halfway down the hill now. And this road here needs a lot of work. And a tractor, which we don't have. Some point in the future, maybe. Either that or I'm going to be doing a lot of hauling with a wheelbarrow. I don't think I'll live long enough to fill all these ruts in. But the leaves are actually starting to turn colors. I'd say probably in a week they'll be good and pretty. And I'll have to run down to Falling Spring Mill. Petra, you have your own supply of pretty rocks. They're everywhere. This is Missouri. Missouri is good for growing rocks. Whole piles of them. Look, piles of rocks that you can just pick up and, well, don't pick them up because creepy crawlies live under them. And since this seems to have been much of a hog lot, I'll say, abba dabba dabba, that's all, folks.